there, my name is Megan and welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be doing my September TBR, but before we go ahead and get on into the TBR, if you are not already subscribed to my channel, please go ahead and hit that subscribe button as well as the little bell icon so you can be notified every time I post new bookish content. I post new videos every Monday, Thursday, and Saturday, and sometimes other days throughout the week. Also, don't forget to check down in the description box below for links to all of my social medias, my Buddy Read Discord, and my Patreon, where you can be entered into winning book giveaways from me. So for the month of September, I want to read 5 books, and then 2 of these are carryovers from August. For any of you guys who've been following my channel for any amount of time, I'm still reading The Queens of Innisleer. I'm halfway through, but I did decide to put it down. Not because I'm not liking it, but it's very slow, and it's a little bit painful to read because it is going so slow and it's starting to repeat itself. So I just needed a break from that book. And I decided to pick up Interview with the Vampire by Anne Rice. This is a reread for me, but I haven't read this book since I was a teenager, so I'm experiencing it for the first time, basically, and I am familiar with the story. I'm currently on page 106, so I'm about a third of the way through, and if you're not familiar at all with this story, it is a story about vampires, and we're following a vampire named Louis, who was obviously turned into a vampire by this vampire named Lestat, and he's just constantly grappling with his nature of being a vampire and just goes on this journey to discover, about his existence, what it means to be what he was created to be, how he should deal with it, and it deals a lot with his interactions with others of his kind. So I'm really enjoying this. I forgot how just engrossing and beautiful Anne Rice's writing is, and there are just so many profound philosophical thoughts that she throws in here. She creates vampires in such a manner that one could believe that they are actually real beings with these real introspective thoughts, and it's just so well done, and I've really been enjoying delving back into this book. Next, we have The Hod King by Josiah Bancroft. This is book 3 in the Books of Babel series. I went ahead and started this on audio, and I'm currently on page, I think, 40, which is chapter 4. And I really enjoyed Sun Ascends and Arm of the Sphinx. I have reviews for both of those books. If you're interested in checking them out, I'll link them up in the cards. But if you're not familiar with this series, it follows a character named Thomas Sunland, and he and his new bride decide to go to the Tower of Babel to have their honeymoon. And the first day, his wife Maria goes missing, and Sunland goes on this journey to find out what happened to her. And as he does so, he uncovers all of these secrets about the tower, what's actually going on the different levels, what the tower itself actually is. And he also learns a lot about himself as a person, and there's a lot of growth in Thomas. And then we are starting to learn more about Maria in this book already, and a little bit was hinted at in the Arm of the Sphinx about maybe she's not the person that Sunland thought she was, and she's done some questionable things, and Sunland is on a search to find out why she did these things and what it means for, their future. I really enjoy this book on audio. The narrator, can't remember his name off the top of my head, but he's really good. He does all the voices, and I know I'll finish this in September. Next, we have a couple of buddy reads. So every single month, I poll my patrons to see what book they want to buddy read together, and 3 of them came up with high results, so I just decided to add all 3 onto my TBR because they're all books that I do want to read. The first one is The Heroes by Joe Abercrombie. This is book 3 in his Leveler series, which are standalone books that come after the First Law trilogy that are all interconnected into the First Law world. And I honestly don't even remember what this book is about. I read Best Served Cold last year, and I've been craving a Joe Abercrombie book lately. Just getting back into that nitty-gritty, nothing fancy, grimdark world. So I did listen to part of Best Served Cold on audio, so I would probably do the same for Heroes, just to kind of knock out such a thick fantasy book. Next, we have Fireborn by Rosaria Munda. This is the first book in a YA fantasy series that involves dragon riders. It follows 2 characters named Annie and Lee, and they were both children during a time when this revolution happened in their country that gave everybody the chance to be dragon riders, so it wasn't exclusive to a certain class of people. Now Annie, who was lowborn, and Lee, who was born to an aristocratic family who used to rule the city where they live, are both these emerging dragon rider stars. But one day everything changes when the people that used to rule this city before the revolution decide they want to take it back over, and that is Lee's relation. So he has to decide if he's going to betray his family and fight against them, and then Annie has to decide if she is going to side with Lee or if she is going to become a champion dragon rider to help save her city. I've heard that this book does not read like YA, even though that is the target demographic, and I've just heard some awesome things about this series, so I'm super excited to finally dig into it. And the last book is The Family Upstairs by Lisa Jewell. I do want to incorporate more thrillers into my TBRs because I really do enjoy them, and they're usually really quick reads and super entertaining. But Lisa Jewell is an author I've never read before, and she's been recommended to me multiple times, and this is a book I picked up at a used bookstore about 2 years ago. But in The Family Upstairs, we follow a main character named Libby, and she doesn't know who her parents are, and she really doesn't know anything about her past, and she kind of starts seeking out answers. And one day she receives a letter saying that she is the sole inheritor of this crazy mansion in London, and she also finds out her identity. However, we learn that there are others who have been waiting for this day when Libby gets to inherit this mansion. As it happens, 25 years ago, the police were called to this exact mansion, and they went upstairs and found a lone baby crying, which I'm assuming it was probably Libby, but there were other children that lived in that house, and everybody but that baby had disappeared. So I think this book will revolve around what happened with that family in that house. Are the children still alive? Why was Libby left by herself when the other children were whisked away? And what exactly was going on with this whole situation? But it sounds entertaining, it sounds fun, hopefully it has some good reveals, and I'm excited to get to it. Okay, you guys, that is it for my September TBR. Let me know in the comments what books you're reading in the month of September, or if you've read any of these books and what you thought of them, and I will see y'all in another video soon. Goodbye!